Shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another edition of 12 Tribes United Marriage Series. My name is Brother Malak. What we're going to go over is a doctrine that was introduced, I would say, about 1996 by a certain group of people, I'm not going to say their names, that it's lawful. They say it's lawful to rape women, that we can just randomly rape people. You know, that's madness, and it caused a split because of that type of doctrine. Now, this should be simple for all of us, that we should not do things like that as men. Number one, you go to jail. Number two, that's dealing in lust, and it's just wicked to just overpower a woman and then just hold her down and strangle or beat her or pull a gun out and knife or whatever and go and just take her sexually. That's madness. All right, that's complete madness. Let's go to Deuteronomy 22nd chapter. It said, if a man be found laying with a woman married to a husband. So here it is, the woman that is found, she's a married woman. If a man laying with a married woman, then both of them shall die. So the punishment for adultery, meaning a man laying down with a married woman, or a married woman laying down with another man besides her husband, it was death. All right, that was the judgment. Both the man that lay with the woman, so the man got put to death, and the woman. So the judgment came on both ends. It didn't just judge the woman or just judge the man. It was both. Judgment was on both, because they both was consenting adults, knowing what they were doing, and they went and committed adultery anyway. So shall thou put away evil from Israel. So it says, if a damsel that is be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her. So now, this woman was betrothed. That means she was promised to a husband. So the man goes and lay with a betrothed woman. This is not a single woman. This is not a virgin. This is a woman that's promised to a man. It says, if a damsel, it said, then she tell ye, bring them both out of the gate of that city. So bring them both out of the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones, that they die. So the betrothed woman that laid down with another man besides her husband, even though she was a virgin, even though she'd never been with nobody, she was still betrothed. So it still was the same judgment as if she was married. And she was engaged, promised to be married. The damsel, because she cried not. Here it is, the woman was being overpowered. She got raped, basically. And that means, since she didn't cry out because she was raped, that means that she consented with that man sexually. They both knew what they were doing. She was betrothed. Maybe her father promised her to another man. And she was like, no, I want to deal with this dude. And she went and did that. That's still adultery. Even though she was a virgin and she never dealt with anybody. But she was promised to a man. It said, now this woman, like I said, she wasn't raped. And the man, because he have humbled his neighbor's wife. So what does it call her? His neighbor's wife. Even though she was betrothed, but a woman being betrothed is still a man's wife, even though he haven't dealt with her yet. All right? The engagement still made her his wife. She was promised to be his wife. All right? So it's the same exact judgment. So shalt thou put away evil from among you. So what was this to be done? What were we supposed to do with this person? Put away evil among us. First Corinthians, the 5th chapter, tell you how to deal with this now, because we cannot stone. It said, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, check it out. Now this man finds a woman that's betrothed, he knows she's betrothed, and he goes and lays down, he goes and forces her. That means he rapes her. And lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. Why? Because that woman was raped. That's why that man died. That woman didn't consent to that. She told that man she was betrothed. The man still just took it. All right, so it shows you that this is a sin worthy of death to rape a woman. All right, you don't do that. The other one was consensual. This one was rape. That's why that man died. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. Why? Because that woman did not all consent to that. He just took that and laid down with her, whatever way he forced it. You know, back then, a knife, sword, whatever instrument he used, beat her half to death, choked her, whatever he did. He forced her, all right? Today it would be a gun, all right? It says, for there in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so it is this matter. So basically, by this man raping this woman, what happened is it was considered like murder. That's the way it was looked at when you take a man's wife like that. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried. So what she cried? First she told that man she was married, she was betrothed. Then he went to go force himself on her, and she cried for help. All right? And there was none to save her, meaning nobody heard her crying. Nobody heard her screaming. So that man got away with it. He just went and raped her. It shows you, man, the Most High doesn't want brothers doing this type of foolishness. All right? You can see in these laws that the Most High doesn't want us doing stuff like that. All right? You go to the Father, you know, if you want to marry your sister. That's it. You know, you do it the right way. You pay your shekels and so forth and so on, man. Not go doing some foolishness like that. All right? It says, if a man find a virgin, if a man find a damsel as a virgin, so this is another virgin. It could be a young woman. It could be a woman that never had sex, depending on the situation. But usually it was a woman that never had sex in this case. It says, which is not betrothed. So this woman, she isn't married, obviously. She isn't betrothed. She's no ties. And lay hold of her and lie with her, and they be found. So brothers look at the word lay hold and try to say that means rape. You notice the word force ain't there, right? This was consensually done. The man found a woman that was not a virgin, and they end up dealing with each other. All right? It said, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. So after he did that, doesn't say he was married just because he laid with the woman. Now here's the next step. He gave the father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. So once he gave the 50 shekels of silver, she became his wife. All right? And he went through the process, you know, wedding ceremony. There was instruments of covenants, all these things. It said, because he have humbled her, he may not put her away all of his days. So how can that mean rape? All right? How can that mean rape? Did she cry out? Was she overpowered? Was she raped? Was she forced? Use your common sense. And you got a certain group, they like to go into the Zondervan, which the Zondervan twists up a lot of stuff. They don't give you real definitions. Let's give you a scriptural real definition of what this means. Now, let's go to Exodus chapter 22, which is a precept to this. It's going to be the same exact scenario. I'm going to tell you in another way. Exodus chapter 22 and verse what? Verse 16. It said, if a man entice a maid, which is not betrothed, so that means he seduces her, he sees the woman. So this man in Deuteronomy 22, he saw a woman. Obviously, he had to talk to her to find out that she's not betrothed or married. All right. And once he found that out, he liked the woman, he went and he enticed her. I mean, he basically seduced her to lay out with him. That's what happened. All right. He didn't go and rape her. It says entice. It doesn't say lay hold. All right. It says, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. So if he does that, entice that woman, he has to do what? Go through the process. Give the father the 50 shekels. Go through the process of what? Of her becoming his wife. Normally, a man will go to the father first, but this is in case this happened. This is not talking about rape. It says entice right here. All right, use your common sense. Use your spiritual sense. All right? And your brain. It says, if the father utterly refused to give her unto him, he shall pay according to the dowry of virgins. What's the dowry of virgins? The dowry of virgins is that 50 shekels of silver. So let's say if a man dealt with a man's daughter, he can get mad and say, I refuse. I don't want to give it to you. But you know what? If he takes that man to counsel, they're going to bring back Deuteronomy 22. He may refuse. Why? Because he's angry that you dealt with his daughter. But when it says right here, or pay according to the dowry of virgins, he still got to let her go whether he refused or not. He can say he don't want it all he want to. But then the law, when he brings that man to counsel, the laws, you're going to go back to the law and say, no, you got to give her up. Now, this is talking about an Israelite. Now, if you go to Deuteronomy, you go to Genesis chapter 34. I'm going to show you an example of the man refusing, because there's cases where that could happen. Genesis 34 will show you that. This man, somebody dealt with his daughter, and he refused it. And I'm going to show you why he refused it. All right. So if it's an Israelite man, he can't refuse. Let me show you how this man refused. It says, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which he bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. So this is Dinah. This is the sister of the 12 patriarchs. This is the daughter of Leah. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, and he took her and lay with her and defiled her. So this man was of another nation. All right, let's get that straight. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spoke kindly unto the damsel. And Shechem spake unto his father, saying, get me the damsel to wife. So the man had already laid down with her, which shows you that just laying down ain't you married just because you laid down. No, after he did that, he went to his father and said, okay, go to her father and give me her to wife. That's what he said. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they would come. And when Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him, and the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very, very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in laying with Jacob's daughter, which these things are not to be done. When it says he defiled her, that means he raped her. All right. Plus, he was another nation, so by him dealing with her, it made her defiled. All right. So this scenario right here was why Jacob refused. All right. This was the Israelite man. It was the Israelite man who dealt with her according to Deuteronomy 22. He couldn't have refused that. But Jacob is going to refuse this one, which is righteous to refuse it. Why? Because that man is not of our nation. All right. This is the point. All right. So it says, when you read down, the Shechem went to Jacob. And what did Jacob say? And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our 14, our sister, to one that is what? Uncircumcised, for that we are a reproach unto us. So what did the sons of Jacob say? They're not going to give Dinah away. This man was not even of our people. All right, he was a heathen. That's why the father didn't give her away. All right. So that's the case, the father not giving her away. All right, but if it's an Israelite and it was done righteously, and even if the man did hastily lay down with the daughter, he'd have to take her according to the law. This man was not Israel. It didn't apply to him. What he did was wickedness. All right, you don't give your daughter over to a man of another nation. We went over that earlier, Deuteronomy 7th chapter. You don't do that. He had already took it, but it's still, you don't give your daughter over to another nation. This is the point of the whole matter. All right. So, once again, brothers and sisters, you cannot be, that's not lawful to rape anyone. All right. To rape no woman. All right. Go to the father, ask for a hand in marriage. If you're interested in her, see if she's betrothed. All right. Shalom.